ArtX Lagos Fiesta has come and gone, but the memories still linger on, especially in the hearts of people that played a big role in the fiesta, pulling a rabbit out of a hat by ferrying the tutu painting done by veteran artist Benewonwu back home for the viewers to see and enjoy during the period. Access Bank PLC is proud to have pulled that off, and they'll be telling us how that happened on this edition of Art House. A warm welcome to the show. I'm Melinda Akinlami.
Why should art have a purpose and a use? Art shouldn't be concerned with purpose and reason and need, they say. These are improper. But from the very beginning, it seems to me, stories have indeed been meant to be enjoyed. The writer is a visionary of his people. He anticipates, he warns.
For 3 days, art lovers and practitioners trooped to the Civic Center in Lagos to be part of the ArtX, which featured about 18 international galleries.
Art House, The Space, Nike Art Gallery from Nigeria, Addis Fine Art from Ethiopia, Circle Art Agency in Kenya, Stevenson Gallery in South Africa, Gallery 1957 in Ghana, Tafera from the United Kingdom, and Out of Africa Gallery in Spain are just part of the 18 galleries who are exhibiting at this year's ArtX Festival.
We talk a lot in Nigeria about wanting to change the narrative about us, wanting to change the way the world sees us, wanting to have a better brand and image for our country and for our cities. A very fast and effective way to do that is through culture, through our art, through our music.
This particular piece, Adoma Bells, is a piece that was all made around the same time, in around 2012 by Patrick. And because it's very personal to Patrick, and I don't think that's the beauty of it, it charms you because of the patterns, but there's not necessarily a clear message or a clear narrative in them. It's more a reminder of a moment in time, and I think the names are also Fanti names, which is the language that he speaks. He grew up in Winneba, in the central region. So it's more about the feeling and the emotion and how he felt at the time, as opposed to the specificity of that work. You also have the work next to it, Asabone. Something I really like about Patrick's works is they're very fun and vibrant. Like the names show his personality and the fact that he's very elusive and likes to play. And he always tries to capture movement or sound or some kind of interaction in his work, and you see that in the names. So you have, like I mentioned, bells, Adoma, the sound of bells. You have bad dance, Asabone, which is again about like a bad dance that you're doing, a dance you shouldn't be doing but you're doing them anyway. And then you also have this work behind me, which is Presidia, Palm Sunday. And you can see actually in this work the palm branches that he references. So they're different, it's almost his works, although they're abstract, are really great at capturing moments in his life, moments or objects that he was very interested in and wanted to celebrate on canvas.
Fabulous paintings and installations are displayed here, and those who came to be part of it have no regrets.
The way art is being seen before, I think ArtX is changing the perspective, the way people perceive art, and then making art to be more acceptable, interesting, and even for parents that bring their children into this space, of course. So in a way, parents are more inspired to support their children, and even people are more inspired to support art because you see the level of artistic excellence in space like this is awesome, and I think that way it's making people to appreciate art the more.
Benenwonwu, for those who don't know, is Nigeria's pioneer modernist. He is the strongest modern artist in Nigeria's art history. And in the 1970s, he painted 3 portraits of a young woman called Prince Tutu, who was a princess in the monarchy in Ife, and was actually, I believe, the granddaughter of the Oni of Ife at the time. Now, these paintings were very significant because they were done in the aftermath of the Civil War, and it was very interesting for an Igbo artist to be painting a Yoruba female. He painted her in a style that the West would use for nobility. And it was such an iconic work because people had editions. They had prints of it, but the actual original, people didn't know where it was. And so earlier this year, it surfaced in London. The auction house Bonhams, they got a phone call from someone saying, we believe we have the original tutu. They checked, they tested, and it turned out to be. Now, when this painting went on sale, the previous highest record for Benenwonwu was £360,000. Tutu was eventually sold for £1,200,000. That's 600 million naira on one painting. When it was sold, we didn't know where it had gone. We didn't know if the buyer was Japanese, Swiss, Chinese, American. And so when we got a call at ArtX Lagos from Access Bank saying, we have access to the Tutu painting, we have facilitated a loan from its owner, and we would like to showcase it at ArtX Lagos, we rejoiced because it meant that A, Tutu was back home in Lagos, B, a vast audience would get to behold this iconic historic work, which is now known worldwide as the African Mona Lisa.
The founder and director of ArtX, Tokini Peterside, explains that contemporary art from the African continent and beyond has been displayed to woo the viewers. She is proud that it all came together nicely, despite the odds.
Being different is at the core of our very essence. We always want a situation where no 2 editions of ArtX Lagos are the same. So this year, as our guests walked into the venue, they would have seen on their left Benenwonwu's iconic artwork Tutu, which we all know was sold for a record-breaking price of £1.2 million earlier in the year. We had that courtesy of Access Bank available for us to display as they had facilitated a loan for us with the owner of the work. On the right side, people then got to see works of Yinka Shonibare. Yinka Shonibare is an illustrious Nigerian artist who has had a very, very successful career in the UK and around the world. And for us, it was a very exciting opportunity to be able to celebrate him, celebrate his career highlights, and show and introduce to a vast audience who this incredible man is. Then when people made their way up the stairs to the main hall, the main galleries, they would have seen a huge variety of artworks from across Africa. Every year we talk about diversity, but this year we pushed even harder for diversity. We had galleries from Ethiopia, from Kenya, from Uganda, from Spain, from South Africa, from the UK. We really wanted to push for East African artists because thus prior, they hadn't really been involved in our fair, and we knew that for Nigerian collectors and art appreciators, this could be something new and very different. And the response has been amazing. In fact, 2 out of the 3 East African galleries have completely sold out of the works that they brought.
All the galleries try to outdo each other by showing what makes them tick.
This is titled Before the Journey. The whole concept here is about the Igbo landing. It's a story that is touching, but it's also a story we can learn from. It's about 75 slaves. 75 people were taken from eastern part of Nigeria to become slaves. And when they landed at their destination, they said, you know what? We can be slaves. What do we do? They said, okay, you know what? We're going to choose suicide to slavery. And guess what? The 75 of them unanimously agreed to walk into the water. Now for me, that's the strongest thing on earth.
A sculpture of a saxophonist out of my addiction for jazz music and classical music. So I did a close study of a saxophonist. Then I started piling up the sax. So in this piece I have about 10 saxophones there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then there are some pieces that I used here that are found objects. Like I pick them from the junkyard, wash them, and make them look good. The idea is just to create what I call trash to treasure.
ArtX Lagos is tailored to bring a shock factor to the hall anytime it comes to town, and the organizers hope they were able to do just that.
When we return on the program, a 1974 painting of the Ife princess called Tutu attained a legendary status after it popped up in a London flat after going missing for several decades. It was auctioned later, but Access Bank PLC managed to lay their hands on it. We'll give you more details when we return.